In this series, we're going to be having a look on Arduino Unos. How do they work? How do we program them? And how do we use different components with them? So, in this video, I'm specifically going to be telling you about an Arduino, how we program it, and how to use different components with them. So, let's get started. So, here is an Arduino Uno. I'll be using a clone for my projects, but the regular Arduino Uno has basically the same structure and the same functions. So this is an Arduino board. An Arduino board is basically a board which can be programmed, as it has a micro controller on it right here. So this is the micro controller. So it is capable of storing code in it, processing it without needing of any external chip. So this board has a lot of IO pins in it. So it has total of 13 IO digital pins. So these are used to insert wires and connect components to them. We can send data to the components. Here we have the analog pins, which can be used for reading inputs, reading sensors. This is the main USB connector, and this is a USB cable. This can be plugged into your PC. This is the reset button. It can be pressed to restart the code, and once programmed, this can run on just a power source. So this can basically hold up around 30 volts of energy. This little adapter over here is just for connecting a 9-volt battery to it. You can find one of those adapters, and so let's get started with the Arduino. So now let's come to our first experiment. Our first experiment involving an Arduino will make the use of this small little 5mm red LED. So we will be inserting this LED in one of the IO pins. So let me tell you, for an LED, this is the positive pin and this is the negative pin. You can identify it by the longer one being the positive and the shorter one being the negative. So the shorter one is negative, so we're going to be inserting it into the ground IO pin, you can see, and the longer one is going to be inserted into digital pin 13. So there we go, and now we can learn how to program this. Okay, so now we can have a look at Sketch. So Sketch is a program developed by Arduino, the same company which builds the Arduino boards, which can be used to upload, basically write and upload the code to your Arduino Uno. So you'll be using the USB cable for that. And so let's have a look at the Sketch window. So this is a new Sketch file. So these are the tabs: the file, edit, sketch, tools, and help. We have a few buttons over here. This is the verify button. It will compile your code and check for any mistakes in it. This is the upload button, which will upload the code to your Arduino after compiling it. This is a debug button. So debugging is not supported by Arduino Uno. This is the board selection menu. You can select the board and the port from this. Over here we have the serial plotter and the serial monitor. So you can print a sensor value or anything from your Arduino to your PC to Sketch over here. So this is the workplace. Let's have a look at the sketch. So the first sketch we're going to be writing is to blink an LED. So you can find it in go to file tab, examples, and basics, blink. You can find this code over here. This is an example code, but I'll be typing that code manually to explain you side by side. So as the void, there are mainly two main functions here: void setup and void loop. So as the name says, in void setup, it would run once and you need to set up everything over here. You need to define the pin modes, what pins are you using as input and output, and you can start objects, you can stop objects. We'll be talking about those things in future videos. Let's have a look at the code. So one of the main functions in void setup is the pin mode function. So you write pin mode over here. Take this line, and two brackets, and every statement in sketch is terminated with a semicolon. So keep that in mind. So in pin mode, we need to write down the pin number, comma, its usage, such as it's an input or output. So this is the syntax for the pin mode. Let's now fill it. So our LED is connected to pin 13. I'll write 13 and I'll type its usage. The pin 13, the IO pin 13 is an output pin because we're using it to blink an LED. So it will be written in caps. So let's write output. And we're done with the void setup. Let's move on to the void loop. So as the name sounds, it will run forever and we need our LED to blink. So we'll be talking about two main functions here. First is the digital write. This is the syntax for digital write. And in here we'll be typing out the pin number which we have defined. If we haven't defined the pin number, the sketch might not work. It will be compiled but it won't work. So we need to define the pin mode. Now we'll be writing the pin number, that's 13, and what will we be doing with it. So write basically defines that we're controlling the component. So this word write defines this. So we're going to be controlling a component and we'll be giving positive voltage to it. So we'll be giving it some power and we'll type out high for that, again in caps, in capital letters. So this defines that our LED will glow. Now we need to give delay, some time for it to glow and then to turn off. Let's talk about now the delay function. The delay function is used to give a delay. So when your sketch runs, when void loop or void setup runs, you can do that in void setup too, but it will just run once. So in void loop, what will happen that this function will run, it will give some delay and then it will do the other things, the other commands which you must have given it. So let's have a look at it. The time is given in milliseconds. So 1 millisecond, I'll just write it down. 1 second is equal to 1000 milliseconds. So using this formula, we can define we can define seconds in the milliseconds, and that's what used by Arduino sketch. So I'm giving a delay of 1 second. You can write two brackets to give a comment over here. This won't be included in the code itself, but you can just see it for your reference. Then comes digital write. Pin 13 has to be turned off now because we don't want our LED to just keep glowing. We want it to blink. Then we'll once again give a delay of 1 second. So this code should make it blink. We can even define some variables. We'll try to do that in some other video. So now let's upload this. To upload it, you need to connect your Arduino to one of the USB ports in your PC. So I just connected my Arduino. And so now you can see, we'll go to select other code and port. This will open a whole dialog box over here. Here it is. So the ports discovered. So this port is discovered with an Arduino Uno. I'll select it. I'll search a board. I'll type Arduino Uno. So this is already selected. We'll click OK. And now we'll get this over here that our Arduino Uno is on COM serial port 8. So now let's go ahead and upload this code. This will also verify the code and then upload it. Verify, compile and upload. If there is some bug in the code, it will give an output in this output window. And our code has been uploaded successfully. So this tells us what Sketch is using 924 bytes. That's something that you might want to read sometime later if you're writing large code. So this basically just shows how much space it's using. So let's have a look at the LED. So now our Arduino is glowing this LED pretty well. The code is there in the microcontroller. And this works fine. So you need not always connect your Arduino to the PC. The code is there in the microcontroller, and you can connect it to a power bank or a 9-volt battery through this adapter over here. And that does it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed this and learned how we can blink an LED using an Arduino Uno and program it with a sketch. Thank you so much.